way.
Assalamu alaikum viewers, how are you? Welcome to uh, easy coding to welcome to easy coding with BG. And in the previous lecture we have discussed about HTML buttons and its different ways of inserting buttons. But today in this lecture we will discuss about HTML checkboxes and HTML radio buttons. That how HTML boxes actually work in HTML coding, and its different attributes, and HTML radio buttons, and how HTML radio buttons actually works in HTML coding and its different attributes. So let's move over Visual Code Editor. So for first of all we will try a checkbox. We will insert a checkbox in our form. So before inserting checkbox we will inserting a header of checkbox. We'll write here h2, and in the header tag we will write here checkboxes. So for inserting an checkbox we will insert a in input tag. We'll write here input type is equal to checkbox. We will just simply close this, and then we will name it. We will give a name to the checkbox, like I will give a name like Java. So I will simply save this. I will move back to my browser and refresh this. So you can see that the header of the header checkboxes appears, and here is the checkbox with the name Java. So basically I will shift this in the next line, so it will clearly appears. I will simply save this. So you can see that here is the checkbox. So I will insert more checkboxes. I will simply copy this and just paste this. I will just simply change the name of each checkbox. I will write here CSS, HTML, and Bootstrap, and like C++, and data structure. I will simply save this, and I will move back to my browser and refresh this. So you can see that the checkboxes appears in a line. So if I want these checkboxes in the next line, so I will simply insert the br tags after every checkbox, br and br. I will simply copy this. Paste, 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 paste. simply save this. We'll move back to my browser and refresh this. So you can see that the checkboxes appears uh, in the next line. So whatever you can choose each and every checkbox, and you can submit this in our form, in your form. So we will see about the attributes of these checkboxes. So let's move over Visual Code Editor. So first attribute of the checkboxes, like we can give it a name. Let's say, for example, I will write here name is equal to skills. I simply save this, and I will also give it a value is equal to a. So I will simply save this. I will move back to my browser and refresh this. So you can, so whenever you select this checkbox and submit this, so it basically here it showing us its name, which I write here skills, and its value, which I write here a. So you can see that the how these attributes name and value actually works in the checkbox. So if I give all those values, if I give the value, if I give values to all those checkboxes, and I will save this, move back to my browser and refresh this. So now if I select all these checkboxes and submit, and if I submit all these checkboxes, so you can see that the name and the value, basically I don't change the values of the checkboxes, so I will simply change all these values. I will write here B, and in the next section I will write here C, and similarly D, E and F. D, E and F. I will simply save this, and I will move back to my browser. And now if I select all those checkboxes and submit these checkboxes, so you can see that the change of the value, all the values of the checkboxes have been changed. The first value is A, and second one is B, and the third one is C, and similarly D, E and F. You can see that how these values actually saved in the browser, and how these attributes actually work in the checkbox. So next we will move to another topic, which is radio buttons. How we can actually insert radio buttons in our form. So for inserting radio buttons, first we will insert a header, and we will give it a name, radio buttons. Radio buttons. Mm, and for inserting the radio buttons, we will also use the input type tag. We will write here input type is equal to radio, and I will simply close this tag, and we will we will give a name to this radio button, like I will give here mail. I will simply save this, and I will move back to my browser and refresh this. So you can see that the radio button appears in our form. So if I want it to the next line, I will simply insert a beer tag. I will simply insert a beer tag, br, and refresh this. You can see that the radio button. So I will simply insert more radio buttons here. So I will simply copy this and paste it in 3 times, and I will simply save this, and I will simply change the name of these radio buttons. I will write here female, and in the next I will write here other, and I will save this, and I will move back to my browser and refresh this. So you can see that the 3 radio buttons appear in our form. So if I want to select only one radio button, so for selecting one radio button, I will use an attribute in the radio button tag. So I will simply write here, I will use an attribute name. Name is equal to, I will give it a value gender. Similarly, I will also give this radio button attribute name, and name is equal to gender. And similarly for the third one, name is equal to gender. I will simply save this. I will move back to my browser and refresh this. So you can see that I can only choose one option from these 3 radio buttons, and I can choose only one option from these 3 buttons. So you can see that how different attributes in checkboxes actually work, and what is the functionality of these attributes. So here I miss one attribute of checkboxes, so I will clear it. So which is actually check is equal to I will use this attribute and I will give it a value checked. So now if I save this and I will move back to my browser and refresh this, so you can see that the Java checkbox is already checked, just because I write here in the checkbox tag checked is equal to checked, just because I just use this attribute checked is equal to checked in the Java checkbox. As I write this and save this and refresh to my browser, so the Java checkbox is already showing us checked. So you can see that how different attributes actually work in checkbox and button and radio buttons. So today in this lecture we have discussed about checkboxes and radio buttons. So in the previous lecture we will discuss more functionality about HTML form. So subscribe our YouTube channel and press the bell icon so you will never miss the updates. And thank you. Jazakallah. Allah Hafiz.